Hi, welcome back to another one of our Let's Talk series with me, Jamie Lewis of the Affinity Group. Today I'm joined by Jess Abrahams, who's our Head of Support here at Affinity, and she's going to talk all things case handling in the background. Hi Jess, so thanks so much for joining us today. Obviously, I guess first place to start for us is, what is your job role at Affinity?
So my job role at Affinity is Head of Admin. So there's a team of 4 of us and we will just help out the mortgage brokers and take customers through a journey from start to finish with their mortgage application.
Sure, and I guess looking at that on a day-to-day basis, what does that look like? What is that role doing around our customers?
A lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, obviously, but it's just when clients don't have the time. So if they don't have the time to speak to a lender or speak to a solicitor to get their update, that's what we're here for. We're here to help that journey along.
Right, understood. And that, from what I know anyway, it comes with challenges, right? Because this is an emotional subject. Quite often people are moving home or they're buying an investment or something's going on. What are the challenges from your point of view when you're dealing with those customers?
Challenges, I mean, clients can get very frustrated. Obviously it's a process where they're buying either their first home or they're remortgaging onto a cheaper, hopefully cheaper rate, but sometimes that's not always the case. So we've got to be very careful to understand what our client's situation is and what the process means to them. And you've got to take them on that journey. So when solicitors don't answer the phone or aren't giving clear updates to the client, we're here to help with that. We're here to understand what that is for the client, what document is missing, why it's not been received, and sort that problem out for the client.
And I guess that's where it gets emotional for people, isn't it? Because you can get frustrated, you have the end goal, you want to move in. I know we have certain periods of the year, Christmas being one of them, a lot of people want to be in by Christmas. That's the sort of marker for their new home. So that's the emotion that sometimes we find. And it might only be a document that's travelling from there to there. And that's where your team is so great, isn't it, that you've built. In terms of the market that we see today, what are the real challenges that you think are we involved in that market right now today? I know PTs, we've talked about remortgaging, we've talked about lenders changing rates. What does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
So it's really stressful for the client because they're sitting there 6 months in advance looking at a mortgage rate that's ultimately higher than what they're on at the moment. So you've got to really tell them what the new monthly payments are going to be. And you've got to keep an eye on that because within that 6 months, a cheaper rate might become available. Might be with a completely different lender, it might be with the same lender. And you've got to talk through what the option is for the client. So, okay, that cheaper rate's become available, no worries, we'll switch you to that new rate that's become available, nothing that you need to do. So they can sit back and just rely on us to make sure we're getting the very best deal for them.
Sure, and I think that's probably important to say without a shameless plug for what we're doing here, but that is part of the process that we take on for a client when we look at their product transfers, when we look at their remortgages, to continuously check up until the point of completion that the rate that we got them initially is exactly the right one, right? So that's good to know. I guess from our perspective, the most important thing is really sort of understanding what that process looks like for us here. At what point do you get involved in that process? At what point do you support around those brokers?
So brokers will complete their agreement in principle, they'll send that over to the estate agent, you've got your offer secured on the property and your application needs to be submitted. The broker will submit the application, those supporting documents go up to the lender and that's when we get the file. So once it's been submitted, the broker will do his suitability report which explains the reasons why we've chosen that lender and that ultimately the best rate has been selected for them. We will then pick up the case from there and as administrators we've got to introduce ourselves. So the client already knows that that's coming and they already know the process around the insurance call that's going to be made to them and that the whole team has got the client's best interest there. So we'll process it through with the lender, right the way through to mortgage offer and then start to deal with the solicitors as well.
That's awesome, and I think probably the most important thing for us as a business is to make sure that we have a touch point with each of our clients all the way through to that successful completion and beyond, I guess. Listen, thank you so much. That's a really great insight today, and appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you.